Welcome to the 22nd session of the Governing Council.
In an urbanizing world, as we face the global economic crisis and the expanding impacts of climate change, we have to work particularly hard to ensure that the legions of urban poor are not left behind. There is a risk that our efforts to meet the Millennium Development Goals and to address the shelter crisis will be rolled back.
The financial crisis is unfolding all around us. It is affecting people north and south, rich and poor, but as always, the impacts are much more dramatic and much more immediate in the south. The impacts and the consequences also far more dangerous to the poor. One of the great tragedies whenever there is an economic crisis is that short-term priorities can often come at the expense of long-term imperatives to act.
It is my sincere hope that you will find the agenda for this 22nd session of the Governing Council especially interesting, if not a challenging one. It is your agenda and ours for a better urban future, for ensuring that the poorest of the poor in our towns and cities have a better hope of a better future.
This sector is neglected from the economic training schools, and I am a trained economist. While I studied the interaction between industry and agriculture, you name it, but very few economists are actually emphasizing the economic importance of housing and urban infrastructure as part of a productive sector where you generate employment. So the first contribution is to raise awareness. Problems, once you recognize the problem, you have half of the solution.
Most developing countries, including Kenya, have, over the years, agonized about the best way to attract private sector investments in low-income housing to address the huge deficit in housing for this category of citizens. We have consequently begun implementing Vision 2030, an economic blueprint aimed at transforming Kenya into a modern, globally competitive, middle-income country that offers a high quality of life for all our citizens by the year 2030. The overall objective of Vision 2030 is to realize a higher and sustainable economic growth rate of 10% per annum in an equitable and clean environment with increased employment opportunities.
And now allow me to conclude by inviting the young graduates on the Moonbeam Youth Empowerment Program to file past the podium so that the Vice President and the distinguished members at the podium can personally congratulate them at this extraordinary graduation ceremony and to witness what we are actually doing on the ground. It is a project started with the seed capital donated personally by our Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, in the overcrowded Nairobi slums of Kibera. UN Habitat is a local and grassroots-based organization, and here we have decided to do work instead of discussing.